Hey everyone, Off the Mike Sports Network here, previewing the best weekend of the NFL postseason, the divisional round. Um, 4 games here, going to determine who the last four are and who goes to the championship round after this week. Very exciting. Let's start off Saturday. Um, the Houston Texans, 10-7, facing the 15-2, undefeated at home Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 8.5. The common thread here is that, the Chiefs, they've kind of gotten away with a lot this year. It's like, listen, the Chiefs are the two-time defending champions. They won 15 games this year. They basically lost one game that they were trying to win because that second loss was against Denver, and they literally sat their entire team for that game. Now, the number's interesting because Kansas City hasn't exactly blown people out, but I think that in some way that is by design, with them effectively being like the Golden State Warriors during their heyday, where they would just coast. They would just coast. And yet they still won 15 games this year. So um, I don't think the Texans are very good. They got away with some things against the Chargers. Um, that being said, I really do like CJ Stroud. He's been up and down this season, but he doesn't have a lot of receivers to throw to. It's really Nico Collins, and then you go down the totem pole to John Mechie and Robert Woods, who haven't been, heavily relied upon in this offense. So it'll be interesting to see how the Chiefs, coming off a bye, if they show any rust. But Andy Reid's notoriously great off the bye. I would take the Chiefs to cover this. Um, I don't really give the Texans that much of a shot. They're effectively a dome team on the road in Kansas City. The Chiefs haven't lost there since basically they haven't lost there since, Christmas of last year against the Raiders. They haven't lost at home in a long time. So I would say that the number one seed, the Chiefs, advance, and they will host another AFC Championship game. After they didn't host it last year, they had to go on the road a lot last year on the road to their Super Bowl. Commanders taking on the 15-2 Detroit Lions. The Lions actually went 7-2 at home. Played 9 games at home, which is, like I said, this is the part of the schedule that's very interesting. Lions 15-2, Commanders 12-5. A lot of, backing for the Commanders after that big win. Listen, I like Jaden Daniels. I think this is the ceiling of this Commanders team. They're 9.5 point underdogs against Detroit. I think the Lions are going to win by double digits in this game. The Even though they have a defensive head coach, the Commanders' defense is not particularly, stout by any means. I think this could potentially be a shootout. Like the over under is almost 56, the total. Yeah, I expect a big game for the Lions. I think the Lions are going to win this going away and advance to their second straight NFC Championship game. Great season for the Commanders in year one, but I think that this is their ceiling. They got to win. And frankly, Tampa should be embarrassed that they lost that game last week. Tampa should have advanced, but they didn't. So that's that. The other NFC game moving to Sunday, Rams at the Eagles. Rams are 10-7, but they didn't look like a 10-7 team, beating a 14-win Vikings team on Monday night. Short week for them, taking on the Eagles 14-3. Have only lost one game at home all year. That was to the Falcons early on in the season in a Monday night game. The Eagles are favored by 6.5. I understand that because they're the home team. I mean, the Eagles did not exactly light the world on fire in their opening round win against the Packers. It's just Jordan Love and this Packers offense just looked, injured, beat up, and not very good. I'm taking the Rams. It's something about Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford come playoff time. Yeah, I understand they didn't win a game on the road in Detroit last year, but they were competitive in that game. They could have very easily won that game. This Rams team is dangerous. Their young defense is starting to perform. Jared Verse looking like a stud. This Rams team is very, very dangerous, and their offensive skill position players we already know about: Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Kyron Williams. Like, this is a really good team. I think the Rams. I would take them plus the 6.5. I would take them outright to win this game. I think this is a coaching mismatch of the highest order with Sean McVay against Nick Sirianni. Sean McVay's been to 2 Super Bowls. What the hell has Nick Sirianni done other than he went to one Super Bowl? He didn't win it. And if he was a good enough coach, he probably would have won one already. Like we've talked about it on this channel, Nick Sirianni is the common thread in why this team is not performing at the level that they should. And they should have blown out the Packers last week. They didn't. And I think that's cause for concern. I think the Rams are really good. And I think their defense could cause problems, especially for Jalen Hurts, who has not played well at all. So I will take the Rams in the upset to advance to the NFC Championship game. And then the main event, really, of this weekend, Ravens Bills. A lot of people are saying that this is effectively the AFC Championship game. I think that's kind of disrespectful to the Chiefs. The Chiefs are still the champs until they get knocked off. I don't have any reason to believe that they would lose. But these are the two best teams behind them, and maybe outside of the Lions, and I mean maybe you could say the Eagles, but I have questions about their coaching. Outside of the Lions, this is probably 3 and 4 in the NFL. And two quarterbacks who need legacy-defining wins. Lamar Jackson, can he win the big one? Josh Allen, can he win the big one? One of these two is going to get, I think, going to get another crack at Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Ravens on the road, interestingly enough, are favored by 1.5. There looks like there's snow in the forecast. This could be a messy game. Should be a lot of fun to see this happen. Look, I don't trust the Ravens in this spot. I don't, because every single time that they have proven to get into a high-profile situation in a effectively pick 'em game, or even one that they're favored in a high-profile spot like divisional or AFC Championship game. I understand that they beat the Texans last year. This is different. This is Ravens Bills. Yes, the Ravens won early on in the season. Smacked them in Baltimore. That was weeks ago. This is the best version of Josh Allen that we've seen. This is the best version of the Bills offense that we have seen, which is ironic considering Stephon Diggs is not there anymore. Like, they've found ways to round themselves into form. My one reservation is about Sean McDermott. How is he going to handle, being in a big time spot? Because John Harbaugh is the better coach. Let's get that out of the way. John Harbaugh is the better coach in this matchup. But this is such an evenly matched game. I'm a little surprised that Baltimore's favored in this game. I get it. There's so much love for Lamar Jackson. He's an electrifying player. He's hard not to like. He's just so much fun. It's just an electrifying player. Just this exuberance about him. And you know what? I've warmed over to him. I never really liked him when he won the Heisman at Louisville, but I've warmed around to just the amazing, way that he has been able to evolve his game, and obviously throw it for 4,000 yards, 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Like, he was awesome this year, and he might win another MVP. It seems like a lot of momentum's going to that. That being said, I'm taking the Bills here. If there's going to be any team in the NFL this year that is going to knock the Chiefs off of their perch, the Lions and one of these two teams, I think, whether it's Ravens or Bills, have a great chance of doing it. I think the Bills win this game, and I think the Bills actually represent the biggest threat to the Chiefs because they beat them. They're the only team really in a full strength versus full strength game to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. That's saying something. I think that this is a legacy defining game for Josh Allen. I think he wins. And we'll see what happens if the matchup again happens, the rematch and Kansas City gets a shot at revenge of their only legitimate loss this season against Buffalo. But I get Buffalo advancing to the championship game. So in this scenario, according to my predictions, I would have Bills Chiefs, and then I would have Rams Lions as the two conference championship matchups. That would be an amazing set of conference championship matchups because obviously all the storylines in Rams Lions just writes itself. That would be amazing. And then obviously, Bills Chiefs, that storyline has been played up for the last handful of years between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. So yeah, that's NFL divisional weekend. We'll have a lot more here on the channel. I will give you guys some takes from that later on in the weekend. I will see you guys soon.